the child's body was discovered in a stream in Harare. It started like something ordinary, a quiet home, a family arrangement, a decision built on trust, but sometimes the most dangerous places are the ones we believe are safe. This is a story of Alista Sibanda and Zvivi, a case that turned a home into a crime scene and a nation into witnesses. A temporary stay in 2023, two young sisters were left in the care of relatives in Zvivi, Zimbabwe. Their mother, like many parents trying to build a better future, had to travel. The plan was simple: leave the children with people she trusted, people who would care for them, protect them. At first, nothing seemed unusual. From the outside, life in that home appeared normal. Neighbors went about their routines. Days passed quietly. No alarms, no obvious signs of what was happening behind closed doors. But silence can be deceiving. To later court findings, the environment inside that house was far from safe. What should have been care slowly turned into something darker. Discipline became excessive. Control became fear. The children, too young to fully understand what was happening, were left vulnerable, dependent on the very people who were supposed to protect them. And in many cases like this, the signs are subtle. A child becoming quieter, avoiding eye contact, changes that are easy to overlook until it's too late. Neighbors would later reflect on what they saw and what they didn't, because sometimes the absence of noise is the loudest warning. By mid-2023, the situation reached a breaking point. One of the young girls, 4-year-old Princess Shoko, lost her life after suffering during this period of abuse. There were no headlines yet, no public outrage, just a moment inside that house where everything changed forever. And then came a decision. Instead of seeking help, instead of calling for emergency assistance, there was an attempt to hide what had happened, a discovery that shocked a nation days later. The truth began to surface. The child's body was discovered in a stream in Harare. What had been hidden was now impossible to ignore. The news spread quickly, first locally, then nationally. People were horrified, not just because of what had happened, but because of where it had happened. Inside a home, within a family, under the care of people who were trusted, Zimbabwe was shaken. From caretakers to suspects, as investigators pieced together the case, attention turned to those responsible for the children's care. Names began to emerge: Alista Sibanda, Zvivi. At first, they were part of the story. Then they became the center of it. As evidence mounted, so did suspicion. But before justice could fully take its course, they disappeared. The escape sometime after the incident, Sibanda and Zvivi fled Zimbabwe. Crossing borders, they made their way into South Africa. For a time, they became fugitives. Their names circulated in news reports, their faces shared across platforms. Authorities began working across borders to locate them. Back home, the case refused to fade. People followed every update, every lead, every possibility, because this wasn't just about finding two suspects. It was about accountability. The search, tracking fugitives across countries, is never simple. It requires coordination, intelligence, and time. But pressure was building. Public attention kept the case alive. Law enforcement agencies continued their efforts, and slowly, piece by piece, the search narrowed until finally they were found. Arrest and return in 2025, the search came to an end. Alista Sibanda and Zvivi were arrested in South Africa. Soon after, they were extradited back home. This moment felt like the first step toward justice. After months of uncertainty, the case was back where it needed to be, within the legal system. Where things stand now, as of the most recent updates, both suspects remain in custody in Zimbabwe. They have appeared in court and are awaiting further proceedings in the High Court. The legal process is ongoing, and while the courts will ultimately decide their fate, the impact of this case had already been felt far beyond the courtroom. A community left asking, what if? Cases like this leave behind more than headlines. They leave questions. Could this have been prevented? Were there warning signs? Did anyone notice something but stay silent? In many communities, these are the hardest truths to face because the danger didn't come from strangers, it came from within. The lasting impact, the story of this case is not just about crime, it's about trust, about responsibility, and about the silent spaces where harm can go unnoticed. For many, it became a wake-up call, a reminder that protecting children isn't just a family responsibility, but a community one. Some stories fade with time, but others stay with us, not because of how they begin, but because of what they reveal about the world around us. And sometimes, the most chilling truth is this: the place we trust the most can also be the place we question forever.